And we're singing. We're singing. Dun, 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 dun. Time to talk. Beauty and the Bitch.
Welcome back to another episode of Beauty and the Bitch. I'm Mick.
I'm Morgan.
And today we're talking about Rant Man, which is me, and... Girl, what done does rhyme with wasp?
Beautiful woman.
No, that doesn't rhyme with...
Powerful feminist. Strong embodiment of Athena.
Those are all fabulous things, but none of those things rhyme with the wasp. Because we're doing Ant-Man and the Wasp. I was going to be Rant Man.
Okay. I Googled what rhymes with wasp.
Okay.
Because nothing. And literally the options that it gives us are bop, chop, cop, crop, drop, flop.
Girl, none of those have an osp sound.
Rant Man and the bop, chop, cop, crop, drop, flop.
That's you!
It's me!
Oh, the universe understands. It's making a way for us, girl.
I feel like it really explains us on, like, a deeper level.
And the bop, rop, chop, cop, lop.
Flop.
Flop. No. Rant Man and the Flop. That's the new title.
Us. And that is our forthcoming album. You can get it on iTunes for $432. Please help us. We're poor.
Oh my god. It's the bizarro version of our podcast. I'm pretty into it, actually.
I'm actually living that truth right now.
Yeah. So, Morgie, you just came back from... We're talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp. We will get to that. We have a lot to talk about. But you just came back from Europe.
I did. I got myself a credit card, and y'all,
queen.
did you know the money was free?
I'd heard that monmoney was free.
Yeah, so you heard it here, guys. Hot take, credit cards are free.
Free money. Ruin your life.
No, but I did use credit cards to better my life, and we visited the UK and also the Republic of Ireland, and it was super great and super fun, and I learned a lot of life lessons, and I got really drunk, and I cried, and I smiled, and it, like, never rained. It literally never rained. It was insane. Every person we met was like, what about this weather, yo? I was like, yeah. The sun opened up and it came for me and we had a great time.
Oh, and it rained down its little sunny splooge all over your shoulders and your face.
But that's to be expected.
Well, yeah, that's just life in Europe, I think. Okay, so here is pop quiz, Morgie.
Oh, okay.
Marry, fuck, kill. UK, Ireland, Italy. I did it.
Why
I've done
would
that
you
thing.
do this?
It is hateful.
Oh, man. Okay, so I have to marry someone, I have to fuck someone, I have to kill someone. So I think I'm going to fuck Ireland. Really? Because they're kind of just like the bad boy of all these choices. Because a lot of Ireland's like beautiful and rural, but they be throwing down there.
Do they have a rural juror out there?
The rural juror does live in Western Ireland.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I think I'll fuck them.
Okay, hot.
But I gotta marry Italy because I can't not be without that food for the rest of my life. Like, it's literally not a choice. And that brings me to the very hard choice that I have to kill the UK. But let me just say that before I kill the UK, in this scenario, what happens is that Scotland breaks free. Scotland's like, just kidding, we don't belong to you anymore. And then I kill the UK because then I get to go to Scotland because I need to be there probably forever. I literally already Googled, how can I live in Scotland?
So, wait, so you visited Scotland as well? Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought you were, like, around England and then Ireland, but you also did Scotland.
Mm-hmm. But we were only there for, like, 3 nights, which is, like, not enough time. And we didn't get to go to the Highlands at all, which is a bummer because I'm a huge Outlander fan, and I wanted to go and check all that stuff out, so I can't wait to go back. But we did stay in Edinburgh for 3 nights, and it was completely magical, and it's where J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I went to the cafe she wrote at. I sat there. I ate a giant slice of cake and I drank a giant pot of tea and I pretended like I knew her and I might have cried one time, but it's just because I had whiskey, like a lot. No, it was scotch. I had a lot of scotch before we got there.
Oh, I see.
And then we visited all the J.K. Rowling highlights. We went to the graveyard where there's like the riddle graves.
Child. I'm so sorry to talk over you. I just realized we haven't even talked about that. I'm a bad friend. We talked for hours before we started recording.
It was literally like, well, we had a lot to cover. It was literally the highlight of the trip, as I knew it would be. It was the whole reason we planned this vacation. We bought the tickets on a whim, and then we just planned everything around it, and it happened 2 nights before we left. And it's a 6-hour-long adventure full of, like, literal actual magic. There is a, like, 3-hour intermission between, like, part 1 and part 2. So it is, like, an all-day affair. And during intermission, the bar at the beautiful theater started serving 2-for-1. What's that minty drink?
Mint juleps?
No, it's a different one.
Mint muddle. Moscow mules.
No, but this like minty alcohol beverage. We had several 2-for-1 of those after we went and grabbed a bite real fast. It was great. Like as soon as it started, I literally like ugly cried because it was just like, I was just like so excited to be there, and like the acting was incredible and the play was incredible. The theater was amazing. We had great seats. We were in like the first balcony. They call it the dress circle or whatever, for whatever reason. It's the first balcony. I guess it would be the mezzanine here. Our seats were fantastic and everything was just great. I cried a total of 6 times. I counted.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. 6 times.
That's me watching the 2 Towers. I'm so into it.
It was really great. So it was just a fucking highlight.
Well, so let me ask you, as someone who, 1, is obviously a huge Harry Potter fan, 2, read the play before you saw it, and then 3, saw the play from great seats, having a magical experience, how did seeing it compare to just reading it?
So much better.
Yeah.
Because, well, I get a lot of feedback from people who've read it that are not super, like, people who have a theater background, which we do, who are kind of like, just like, didn't really get it, didn't really enjoy it. I see a lot of people in forums that are like, is there, like, a book version? Because it's just difficult if you're not used to reading a script to, like, enjoy it. But we are the kind of people that can read a script. So, like, I enjoyed the playbook. Like, reading it was great. It was very fulfilling. But all I could think about the whole time was all the notes and the margins that were like, and then this magical thing happens, and here's what this character does. And I just had to see it. And it's a thing I've been wanting to do since that book was announced, since the whole project was announced. So it was like a 2.5-year thing in the making for me. So it was like actually fulfilling like a lifelong like bucket list item, which I don't have like like there's so much I want to do, but there's not things that I'm like, if I don't do this, I'll be miserable. And I was going to be miserable if I didn't see that. And I feel so fulfilled.
Well, it won a Tony, didn't it, last week?
Yeah, because they've just brought it to New York this year. It won
like
Best Play, like Best Actor, Best Screenplay, I think. It won like a ton of stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So good for them. And I actually like can't wait to see it again and plan on like sometime in the next 2 years, like trying to get tickets in New York and see it, because tickets are hard to come by, especially in New York, because it's only been there since like March.
I mean, theater is really experiencing a resurgence right now. I mean, it never really went away. Theater is always there. Musicals are always there. Always good stuff coming out. But right now, I mean, take Hamilton, for example. Impossible to get those tickets. Yeah. I, like everyone else, listened to Hamilton, and before I listened to it, I was like, meh, who cares? And then I listened to it, and I was like, the music. I mean, it touched me. I cried on the bus listening to that. I would love to go to New York and see Hamilton, but girl.
And the price.
The price.
Yeah.
Not only the difficulty, but the price.
Yeah. It's very expensive.
And then knowing my budget, I'll buy a ticket and it'll be for the janitor's closet 2 floors down. You know what I mean? And I'll listen to it through a pipe or some shit. Yeah. I mean, I'm tired of being poor. Girl.
We got really lucky with our tickets. Actually, it all started with a bottle of wine. And
as most good things do. Yes.
And like a continued failure to win the lottery in New York to even be eligible to buy the tickets. We kept entering the lottery. It wasn't happening. I wanted to do it for my 30th birthday. I was just like so disappointed. So we were like, let's just see what's available in London, right? Like, let's just look. And like nothing. There was like almost nothing available in London through like winter. So there was like a couple of tickets available. And this date that we chose was like the closest to my birthday, like something that would work. So we just like fucking bought them.
That's good.
Very pricey, but totally worth it.
I'm really impressed that you stayed committed to this dream for a whole decade, because this is your 40th birthday coming up.
Oh, girl!
And you've been really on this for a long time.
You're trying to ship me with, like, fucking death. You're just trying to, like, march us along together.
But I think y'all are a cute couple, though.
I'm a very youthful 20-something.
You can only say that for a few more weeks, bitch. Listen, 30 is horrible.
Oh my God. No. It looks so good on you, though.
Thank you so much. Actually, One really good thing about turning 30 is I tell people at work, often older customers, just a little bit older than me, some like a 35-year-old, I'll be talking to them about something anti-aging or some shit like that. And they'll be like, what would you know about it? Not mean, but just like, you're young, please. And then I'll be like, oh, well, I'm fully 30. I'm almost 31,
I'm fully 30.
I'm blooming, bitch. I am blooming. And they always go, oh, really?
Make
and
me feel good.
It does make me feel good. It's also funny though, because I look in the mirror and I'm like, girl, you're a definite 30.
I don't
You might
think
be a
so.
32. Well, it's just my eye area, because I have sad eyes and I feel like it ages me. I want to pluck my eyeballs out of my head.
I think you should.
Pull this skin tight here.
I'd support
and
that.
pull this skin tight here.
Why don't we just cut all the skin off and then it won't be a problem?
You know, I'm into a muscle daddy. And even if I have small muscles, if all you can see is my muscles...
Prominent.
That makes me a muscle daddy. Am I right?
Am I right, ladies?
Hey-oh, in the back.
Hey.
I'm so glad you I'm not shocked. I assumed you would love Harry Potter.
It was great. Yeah. How horrible would it be if I was like, it sucked, not worth it, everything was terrible.
At this point in life, it would be especially painful.
It would be shocking. Yeah,
yes, it would be especially painful.
No, it was great, and I'm glad that we did it.
I'm so glad too. And I have a feeling I'm going to be hearing like scattered stories from this trip for like years. And I'm so into that. I'm ready for all the stories.
I can't wait to show you pictures.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. Did Aaron Messick have a good time?
He had so much fun.
Good.
Yeah. He was really good as like the navigator. Cause like I'm the person who's like, I planned everything. I did everything. I made all the arrangements. But then when I get there, I'm like, in case you didn't notice, there's 2 glasses of wine in my hand and you're the one who has Google Maps. So figure it out. So he was like really good at that. And I didn't go super gung-ho, like mega planning every day of every trip. Like I try to keep it a little more chill. Cool. So we really maximized, but we weren't like rushing between stuff. But also because of that, like we missed some things we wanted to do because we like either didn't book it ahead of time or like whatever. So I am like currently working on a blog post for like my tips for people who want to take a similar trip. Yes. And I do have some like, bitch, you need to plan ahead tips for these things. And then other things that are like, nah, just do it whenever.
That is so useful. You should share that on our Facebook page, Mikey.
I will.
Because I would love to read it. And I don't talk to you except on a microphone. So.
Well, that's...
Not true. Not true. Okay, so would you like to segue into Hank Pym and domestic abuse?
I thought you never asked.
Seems optimistic, doesn't it? No. What do you think? Should we start talking about the first movie, Ant-Man?
Yeah, let's touch on Ant-Man.
That came out in 2015, is that right?
I do believe it did, and it had a pretty good reception. It has an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I agree with upon my rewatch before our Infinity War podcast. I had only seen it once, and then I rewatched it for that podcast, and I liked it a lot better the second time, personally. I think it had a lot of heart, and I think that they have a much bigger budget for this new one, so I'm intrigued.
Well, the first one, it had a total take of 180 million domestic and 519 million international.
That's pretty good, right?
It's solid. Yeah. I'd say it's solid. I mean,
for like a secondary sort of superhero.
Exactly, and they're also doing different things with the Ant-Man movies too. They're not Avengers. They're not Thor. In fact, they said Ant-Man and the Wasp, they're trying to make it into a rom-com as much as anything else. And that's definitely the feeling, even from Ant-Man, I kind of, not necessarily a rom-com feeling, but it felt like you could replace Paul Rudd or not replace him, but you could replace him with, say, like, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith, and make it into kind of like a heist, because it was like a heist movie.
Yeah, it had that like crime element.
It was like an Ocean's 11 kind of esque thing.
It had like the funny side character, dim-witted, but like good-hearted.
Yeah, and the love interest girl, and he had this like family drama with being kind of a deadbeat dad kind of situation, which I thought was very affecting.
Yes.
It touched my heart and made me sad for everyone involved. Overall, though, I mean, look, lots of good famous actors. Michael Douglas, in my notes, I just put Michael Douglas, ! That's all I put.
Yeah.
I was shocked to see him in this movie.
I haven't seen him, I feel like, in years. I mean, he did go through, like, a cancer situation for, like, a while.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he had, like, throat cancer from eating out Catherine Zeta-Jones too much. He really did. I swear to fucking God.
You cannot get throat cancer from cunnilingus.
Yes, you can, because she has HPV.
Oh, shit.
Google that shit. I saw him. He basically, like, he didn't say that in so many words in an interview, but, like, he was basically in an interview, like, yeah, if you go down on a girl with HPV, it can be affecting.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
My friend Jessamine, she's she does I want to say sex therapy, but that's not what she does. She does like sex education in like military bases and like schools and all kinds of different places. And I'm gonna ask her about this. You have a lot to say. I don't disbelieve you. I just want to hear her angry take on cunnilingus is great.
Oh, it is great.
Yeah.
I don't think that he said it wasn't great. They're still married. I'm sure he still goes down on her. Have you seen her?
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
She's very nice looking.
Wow.
I'm just saying that's what the internet told me, so it must be true.
Well, if he said that in an interview, I believe it.
Must be
I
true.
mean, wow. Fucked up. Anyway, so Michael Douglas overcame cancer so he could be an Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp.
And he did so great.
He was amazing.
He's so great.
We're going to touch back up on him because, not Michael Douglas, of course. He's guiltless in this. But Hank Pym, the character he plays, there's a lot of controversy with that character. We'll touch
Intriguing.
on that. Yes. I thought the subatomic level was really fascinating from the Ant-Man movies.
Wait, what do you mean?
You know, like when Janet Van Dyne...
when she disappeared into the whatever realm. What do they call it?
Subatomic realm. Yeah. I think that's what they call it, subatomic. I could be wrong, but it's like you get...
Quantum realm. That's what they're calling it in the movie.
Okay, quantum realm. So you get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And then an atom suddenly is a planet. And then you're smaller and smaller and smaller. And then the physical like laws that we know and think of don't even make sense anymore. And smaller and smaller and smaller. It's quite fascinating. As a child, I used to have this dream that I was falling, but it wasn't like falling off a cliff. It was just falling from nothingness into nothingness. And I was screaming the entire time, and my voice was getting quieter, but it never went away.
Place.
Girl, I was in that sunken place. That's what happens when you make little boys stay in the closet for 18 years.
Holler.
Anyway. But I'm really fascinated by this subatomic level. And in Ant-Man and the Wasp, there is a tease, which is definitely true, that Janet Van Dyne's going to come back from the subatomic level.
So they're going to spend some time there.
Yes, which I'm excited about.
Which I have some fan theories on when we get a little further along.
I'm excited for that. Okay. Overall, I just saw Ant-Man for the first time a few months ago. I was very late. I don't know how I missed it, because I love Paul Rudd so much.
It was just like one of those, because in this age of like every other month there's like a new fucking superhero movie, right? Like this year alone we've gotten Black Panther and Infinity Wars. Now we're getting Ant-Man and the... Like, it's just like nonstop. In
addition to all the TV, which we won't even go into. But if you're a TV person too, constant stuff.
Girl. So it's just like a lot to keep up with. It kind of just got peppered in as like a... I don't know. It felt like a second string movie, you know,
like a runty stepbrother, of the Marvel universe.
But I think Paul Rudd really I think he's fantastic. Yeah, he's really good at that role.
I love him in almost anything.
Girl, if this Me Too shit comes out and there's some Paul Rudd business, I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know what? You can't like nobody anymore. Did you hear about all this Chris Hardwick stuff?
Yeah. I'm really upset about that. I think, you know what I think we need to see that we all have the capability for evil. I think that's a step that needs to be taken. I'm not saying people shouldn't be punished, but for example, Chris Hardwick, he was evidently abusive. Well, allegedly. Okay, but I tend to believe the woman. But he was allegedly abusive in a relationship, both sexually and physically.
And emotionally.
Yeah, so just abusive. So he's an abusive husband, okay? But that's only half the story. But the problem is he's not telling the story, if there is any story. He's just saying, that's not true. It's all untrue. And I'm like, girl, look, we need people. It's kind of like how Master of None, Aziz Ansari. Now his career's fucked too. It fucked up his career really hard, which I'm so heartbroken about. But he stood up and he said, you know what? This did happen. It felt different to me. I didn't realize. I'm deeply sorry.
Yeah, he gave like a tangible, like, response.
Yeah.
And he didn't say, like, no, I was right and she was wrong. He was just like, well, here's what I thought happened.
This movement's very important. I support it, and I'm sorry that I am playing a villain in it right now, you know, because of actions that I took. But I feel like so often people are like, no, it just didn't happen. And I'm like, girl, that makes me feel like you are a villain. Yeah. We need vulnerability and honesty here. This might be the end of Chris Hardwick, who I know a lot of people hate him. I actually really have always liked him. So
oh yeah,
I've
been like a big fan of his nerdy situation. And like, yeah, so quickly everything he has had his hands in so many projects, and all of them are like done right now.
Done.
Yeah, finished. They've all been pulled.
I just, well, I don't know. I've got a close friend who I was talking, pardon me, wine burps, who was talking to me about this, and I was like, you know, I'm worried about the men who are gonna be destroyed from this, and not the ones who are guilty, like some of the monsters we talked about. Kevin Spacey, whose name shall be forgotten from now on. He doesn't exist to me. But, you know, some of the people like Aziz Ansari and maybe Chris Hardwick. I don't know, because he don't know the story.
Yeah. Unclear.
Because abuse can mean a lot of different things. A lot of different things. So I need to know what the fuck is going on, you know, before I can be like, yeah, I want to forget him, or yeah, I still want to support him. Who knows? There's a possibility that maybe is a two-sided situation. Abuse is often two-sided, and people never talk about that. It's not always, but it often is. So anyway, my friend was like, you know what? I am willing to sacrifice a few straight men to get women the power and the protection and the safety they deserve. And when you put it that way, I'm like, well, yeah, me too. Straight men are like my least favorite demographic. You know, some certain very close friends like your husband notwithstanding, obviously. But
hi, baby,
love you. But it's still upsetting to see it happen.
It is upsetting, and it is like you for sure always want to be on the side of the victim, but like it can be difficult when you're like, could we have like a little more information? Because it's like, if we're gonna make it a public matter, like, is it all gonna be public, or is it just gonna be like skirting the truth or the untruth?
Because I mean, and some people may really dislike me for this, but I just have to speak my truth here. The question is, you know, did he come home, call his wife names, throw the dinner she made in the trash, rape her, and then punch her in the face and go to bed? That's not I'm not even saying that for jokes. Like, that happens. Men are sometimes like that, you know, hateful, abusive men. Or did he come home and she said something passive aggressive, and he said, oh, you made greens again. I hate greens. You know I hate greens. And then she said, well, at least I didn't cheat on you with my sister. And then he says, that never happened. And then they get into a fight, and then it becomes physical, and they punch each other, because that also happens. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I just want to know what the fuck happened. Yeah. I want him not to deny it and just, look, girl, it's out. Your dirty laundry's out. Your career's over. So be honest.
Also, just to clarify, he wasn't married to Chloe Dixter. They were just
dating.
They were married. Okay, but he is very much married to Lydia Hearst, billionaire heiress.
Oh. So he's fine either way. I didn't know he's married to a billionaire heiress.
Yeah, Lydia Hearst of the Hearst Empire.
Of the Hearst Empire, my goodness.
Citizen Kane was about her grandfather.
Girl, you know.
Her mother was kidnapped by a cult and killed people and got off because she's a billionaire.
That's the way it happens, Queen.
Girl.
That's what I was talking about earlier. It's about
I'm not
who
coming
you know.
for Patty Hearst, though. Y'all don't put that on me.
No,
I was just saying, I read that on the internet.
That's just factual.
There's documentaries.
Well, internet facts, anyway.
Heiress.
Anyway, so it's upsetting. The whole thing's upsetting. The whole thing. As a man, I feel afraid. I have to tell you, which is fine. Maybe women are like, you know what? That's what I've been feeling my entire life. Fair enough, but I'm also a gay man, so I've got that fear too. So just to point out to you, it's a kind of a scary time to be a man, because I feel like someone at work could say, Mick molested me, and that would be it. I would be fired, and I would say, no, I didn't. I'm not even interested in female bodies. And they would say, well,
there's
sorry.
For sure room in this movement for like hateful people to say untruths just to hurt people for their own agenda. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying
half-truths. Half-truths.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not saying that is happening or isn't happening, but in this time and in this movement there is definitely room for it.
But there was a lot of room for people to be hurt under the fucking patriarchy. God knows that's the truth.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm just very aware that this movement is not without its flaws and possible flaws, and that it is scary even to be a queer man who is non-gender specific a lot of the time. It is a genderqueer is a label I like. It is scary even for me. So I imagine straight men, especially straight white men, are scared.
Do you know what's a relief though to just like counteract that as like just as like a woman who like I literally will sometimes intentionally not wear makeup and wear frumpy clothes if I want to go for like a run or like take my dog on a walk by myself or something, because it's so much easier to try to avoid being like catcalled or like unwanted advances, even if they're just like verbal, because it's such an uncomfortable place to be. Just like, it's so... like, the stories that, like, the horrible things that have happened to people make me feel like the minuscule, like, discomforts I have felt by, like, men over the years are, like, so inconsequential. But the thought that a man might think twice about, like, biting his lip and, like, slipping his hand, like, onto my butt in public, like, the thought that he might not be able to do that because of any consequences that he might be scared of is a relief, to be honest.
Amen. I mean, that's... fuck yeah, man. I agree with that, too.
But it is scary at the same time on the other side. For, like, people who are just, like, trying to live their best life and not be creepy guys.
Yeah. And just are afraid of this new weapon that could be used against them. But it shouldn't be a new weapon, should it? See, I'm pulled. I'm so
Life
pulled.
is so hard. And
nothing
is, like, one-sided. There are so many facets to, like, all the issues. So let us pray that the beautiful people like Paul Rudd that we love and cherish will remain nameless in this very scary game.
Yes, exactly. Well, let's just hope they haven't done anything shitty.
Girl, that's the real truth.
Let's just hope they're good people.
One can pray, but not to God, to... beauty and power.
To beauty and power! Let's pray to Trump and Melania.
Oh, on the fucking John Oliver show, the last one, he always brings up Trump because of course he does, he has to. And he was like, now let's go over to Donald Trump, or as we like to think of him, the love of Melania's life. And then there was like a picture of them being like so not in love, which is like every moment they've ever spent together.
Yeah, that's essentially, I mean, look, Melania is a trophy wife. There's no two ways about it. She only married him for his money. It is extremely obvious. It's not even cruel to say so. It's just an obvious fact.
Can't wait to read her memoir in like 5 or 6 years.
Once they get divorced.
Yeah,
yes.
they'll be divorced. He'll not be president.
Yes,
she'll have the deets. And she'll also have my $18.99 because I will be purchasing that book.
I will buy that tell-all. Yes, queen. So that was a what's the word? Tangent? But it was worth it. That was a good tangent. I think we need to talk about that kind of shit. We also, just in passing, just in the most brief of passing, there are small children being held at the border just a few miles away from us, really. All because of the Trump administration, not because of Democrats. It's because of Trump and because of his administration. Jeff Sessions, fucking hateful ass Jeff Sessions. One of the meanest, cruelest people in politics.
Hateful, racist people are tearing families apart.
Yes, they are.
And we are being subjected to the fallout of that. And all we can do is like use our words and our money and our voice to like try to help it, which we are doing. And that's unfortunately what we have to give, and it's like so fucking depressing.
It's horrible.
It's so bad.
It's exactly the kind of terror that I was afraid of when Trump got elected.
Yep.
I mean, it is exactly the thing I was afraid of. And I'm not alone. Obviously, I'm not. There's a reason the whole country was depressed after Trump got elected. Not the whole, but the whole of the country I want to talk to anyway. Yeah.
It's a fucking tragedy.
It is. So this is coming out. You won't hear this for a few weeks later. Hopefully, this shit's fucking resolved by the time you hear this. But who knows?
That group that we donated to, they've already raised like millions of dollars.
Yeah,
like
good.
$15 million or something towards like the defense of this cause. So.
Yeah. And that means a lot because, you know, most of those people are like us and we're just giving small amounts.
Yeah.
It's not like I went in there and was able to give $2 million or something.
No, not today.
That is a really good thing, though. We both found that on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Hey, that's a good silver lining of Facebook. Raising money for notable causes like that's fantastic.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't matter. It's still happening, though. You know? Anyway, okay, back to Ant-Man. That was a good tangent.
Woo! Yeah, let's talk about the real heroes. Michael Douglas, who goes down on his wife consistently and says you should still do it even if you get cancer.
Girl,
these heroes. This is the heroes we need in our lives.
Yes, those are heroes we deserve.
Yes!
Cunnilingus heroes!
The men we love.
Overall, I just have to say, I think the first Ant-Man movie, it's in the top half for me of Marvel movies. I liked it. Mm-hmm. I did not dislike it. Mm-hmm. But...
It's no Thor the Dark World.
No, it's...
But it's also no, like, Thor Ragnarok if you're people who like that.
Exactly. And that's my bottoms and my tops right there. It is just meh. It's very forgettable to me. I'm hoping this upcoming one is going to be miles ahead.
And honestly, first of all, their budget's so much bigger, but also the trailers make it look really good. Like, I'm really into it. And as we know, Marvel has not been the best about creating these relationships, right? When they try to endeavor, like, I mean, they're all just like male-female relationships, but like there's none of them that you're like shipping so hard, right? Like, it's not like we can't wait to see Cap with like that blonde what's-her-face bitch,
who cares?
you know? Like, nobody cares about like almost anything. Chris Pratt and Gamora, people are into, but it's also kind of like cute that he's still like a player, you know? But like, this is the relationship maybe we could invest in, you know? Maybe this is the one.
100%, yes. And he's finally, so in Ant-Man the Wasp, which comes out July 6th, so like the day after this comes out or something similar.
Probably, yeah.
Something close to it. We try to do that. So first of all, we're going to have the Wasp, right?
Yeah. Full on.
Which is very exciting.
And Wasp 1.0, I think.
Wasp. Oh, yes, we're going to have the original Wasp played by none other than Michelle Pfeiffer.
Preach! Literally, Pfeiffer. The casting is insane.
Michelle Pfeiffer?
And...
Who?
Goliath is played...
Goliath, played by Lawrence Fishburne. But I'm sorry. No, I do love Lawrence Fishburne. I love him. I think
Michelle
everyone
Pfeiffer,
should.
But it's
Michelle
a stellar
Pfeiffer,
cast.
Yeah, it's such a good. Plus Michael Douglas coming back. Plus Paul Rudd. Plus
that girl who plays Ghost.
Oh yes, the girl who plays Ghost and the girl who plays the Wasp. What's her name?
Evangeline Lilly.
Yes, Evangeline from Lost. That's the girl from Lost, right? Yeah. So I'm honestly. I am going to rent this movie, because you know I rent it in the theaters, but I'm going to rent this movie to see Michelle Pfeiffer. That's the reason, honestly.
Yeah.
And maybe for the podcast, because I have to keep up on things, but literally it's because of Michelle Pfeiffer. It's been so long since she's been anything, girl, that I've wanted to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like years.
That's fair.
And I am not okay. I understand she has children to raise, but let's think about Mick Parker right now.
Yeah. She really hasn't been considerate with her time.
She hasn't been. She hasn't been. So she plays Janet Van Dyne, who is the original Wasp, who we saw go into the subatomic realm in Ant-Man. So I think, and I heard you have some spoilers, or not spoilers,
theories.
But theories, yes. Hit us with some theories about subatomic level. And oh, just by the way, this is estimated to have a really solid opening. They're looking at expecting about 75 million for the opening weekend.
That's pretty dope.
Significantly more than the first one made. Significantly.
Especially coming off the heels of this is our first Marvel superhero film after we had Infinity Wars. And Ant-Man and the Wasp were noticeably absent from Infinity Wars, which there was a lot of chatter about. But they also kind of tried to make an excuse for it. They were like, oh, Scott can't make it. He's on house arrest because of a deal he made after like Civil War or whatever. So they made an excuse, but there's a lot of theories about will he be in the second movie? What will his role be? And what does it mean? What's the timeline on Ant-Man and the Wasp? Like, where does it happen in the universe? Because we know it's going to be sometime between Civil War and Infinity War, but we don't know what's the crossover, like what's the fallout going to be. Are they going to be watching Infinity War unfold on the television? Because Scott's out there, like in the trailer, right? They're out there fighting. They have a lot of chaos going on. They're going to the subatomic realm, and the quantum realm is what they're calling it.
Oh yes, I keep forgetting. I'm sorry.
That's okay, same thing. So like, We don't know what's going to happen, what are they going to learn, and how is it going to affect Infinity War #2, which is yet to be named.
And I bet it's going to affect in a big way.
Deeply.
Yes.
I agree.
That's smart of them. Okay.
So what we know about, what's her name? Wasp 1.0, Michelle Pfeiffer?
Janet van Dyne.
Janet van Dyne is, she is lost, and she's going to play a role in this film, assuming that they're going to go into the subatomic / quantum realm and they're going to save her or retrieve her. Mm-hmm. But what state is she going to be in? Has she been in there the entire time? Has she actually been able to come and go? Is she still a good person? Is she a villain now? What is her role?
I think when they find her, she should be wearing a Catwoman suit. Wouldn't that be a mindfuck for you?
That would be so great, dude. She fucking rocked it.
I mean...
and good for her making that DC Marvel crossover.
Yes, my queen. Yes. Both Catwoman and the Wasp. Are you kidding me? Michelle Pfeiffer is a goddess. Anyway,
literally.
I wonder though, now we know that physical laws don't necessarily apply to the quantum level. Maybe no time will have passed at all.
And that's a great question, is also like what kind of time do they lose when they go in there? Because that'll affect where they live in this timeline as well. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of chatter about how they're going to connect this movie to Infinity War, because right now that's the biggest arc in the Marvel situation. So the main leading theories of what's going to happen is, of course, we're going to get other Marvel character cameos. It's a hallmark of the Marvel movies, whether it's in the post-credit scene, whether it's in the middle of the movie. Of course, in Ant-Man 1, we had Falcon, and he kind of was a pretty sizable part of Ant-Man.
It was a big fight, yeah, at least, yeah.
So the two leading theories are we are either going to see Captain Marvel, and perhaps her absence is defined because she is trapped in the quantum realm. And
I think that's so likely.
Maybe Ant-Man and the Wasp will also save her along the way. So that's a very real possibility. Okay, because Captain Marvel has yet to make her appearance, but there has been so much hype for Captain Marvel, right?
Brie Larson, right?
Yes, and at the end of Infinity War, the very last post-credit scene was Sam Jackson and Robin Sparkles from How I Met Your Mother. They were driving. They both experienced the snap and like lost their souls or whatever. But right before Sam Jackson left, he managed to pull his pager out. Yes, I said a pager. Whoa. And call on Brie Larson. He was like, Captain Marvel, we need your help. So maybe she'll be making her appearance. So that's a very real possibility. Okay, other possibility that's leading in the fan theories is that Doctor Strange will be our major crossover, because we know Doctor Strange lives in the quantum realm, right? He's got all that power. And his kind of, he had a huge role in Infinity War, but his most pivotal role is the one scene where he went into meditation and was able to foresee 14 million different outcomes for the war against Thanos. And Chris Pratt was like, how many do we win in? And he said only one. So perhaps he went to, maybe he went into the quantum realm, found Ant-Man and the Wasp, conveyed to them what the answer was, and maybe they'll, because they were absent from the first movie, maybe they'll come into the second movie with the answer, because Doctor Strange is no more after the Thanos snap. Yeah. So we really need somebody else to have the answer at this point. And also, maybe the secret to time travel is in the quantum realm, because if we lost all these characters, we're going to have to get them back somehow, and time travel is the most lucrative option to do that.
Wow, 14 million and you only win in one?
One.
That's worse than my chances going out to the gay club.
Girl,
barely
it's
worse.
Like 13 million in one.
Yeah, exactly. But I still have some hope then. But 14 million? That's a whole million more.
It's not good.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's kind of the hype around the quantum realm and cameos.
Is there anyone else who wasn't present in Infinity Wars, the first movie?
Besides Captain Marvel, not that I can think of. Okay. Oh, well, Hawkeye. Hawkeye wasn't there because his wife was like super pregnant in the last movie we saw Hawkeye in. So they were like, whatever his name is, Clint, I think. They were like, Clint has to be with his family.
Oh, Clint?
Clint. So, but Hawkeye is so like basic.
Yeah, he's likable and great, but I really doubt he's going to be the deciding factor. But he could be. Girl. I mean, that would be a fuck you to all of us if they were like, no, that arrow is going to kill Thanos somehow. Or not kill him, but knock him off the planet. I don't know.
Knock one of his little gemstones out of his glove.
Ding! They would try to pull that shit with us. Girl, that is Infinity Gauntlet.
That's actually the climax of Infinity War number 2. Ding, ding.
Everyone's face in slow motion watching it fall. Thanos is like, oh, can't catch it, Butterfingers.
ScarJo's trying to get her phone out to record it because she's so proud. That's my best friend.
He's just got arrows and look, he saved the universe. Oh my god. Interesting. So the entire Guardians of the Galaxy are present in Infinity Wars?
Yep. Okay. Every single one.
Okay.
Not at the end. Some of them don't make it.
Oh.
We should have said spoilers, but like that's obvious, right?
Yeah. I haven't even seen Infinity War yet, but if you don't know that Thanos snapped his fingers, then
it's like literally the whole point.
It's been in the comic books since like the 70s or 80s. Yeah. I mean, sorry girl, but spoilers are only in effect for like 6 months, and it's been 3 months already since the movie came out, and I'm over it.
Who cares?
I don't care. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, okay, so Michelle Pfeiffer. Now, Lawrence Fishburne is playing Goliath. Mm-hmm. Now, are you familiar with who Goliath is in the scheme of things?
I read like a little bit. So he used to be a part of like an initiative, and he had a similar suit where he grew big. Mm-hmm. Not quite as big as Ant-Man has been able to achieve, from what I understand.
Yes. Yeah, because they said that. You saw the trailer.
Yes.
Where he was like
65 feet. And he was like, woo!
Wow! Oh, that was cute. I appreciate that. Yeah, he was Hank Pym's lab assistant. / partner. I mean, it kind of depends on how you see a black man in a lab. Is he an assistant or is he the partner? He's been described both ways. But, I mean, whatever.
Well, and it's really interesting to be like, what sort of role will he play? Because Lawrence Fishburne's not a young man to be joining in a superhero squad, but neither is Michael Douglas.
That's true.
So they're kind of crossing some thresholds by bringing them in, you know, as far as like fighting alongside the likes of like Chris Pine, Chris Pratt. He's not as young as the Chris's.
All the Chris's.
You know what I mean?
Yes, Queen. Well, and you know, that brings up, I've heard a fan theory, and I hope I didn't cut you off.
Go for it.
But I heard a fan theory that, you know, Ghost is the main villainess, I should say. Now, in the comics, Ghost is a man, but as the producers and the director said for this movie, it doesn't matter what gender Ghost is. It doesn't matter at all, because his gender, her gender, is not connected to the powers that character has at all. In the comics, Ghost has this like techno suit, and he's also kind of a technopath. So he's very like computer based powers, but he has the powers of invisibility and intangibility, hence his name. And that's all given to him by his like techno suit and his technopath powers, which I never read about Ghost in comics, but I'm kind of unclear how those things come together. Like how much is like power in his brain, her brain, and how much is like technology in a suit. I don't know. And it's likely they're going to change it for the movie anyway. But here's the theory. Theory is Ghost is the villainess, yes, but that's because she's Goliath's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and so Goliath is also a villain, and they're working together, which could be because Hank Pym, as I was telling you earlier, and maybe this is a good time to go into it, he's not a winner. Hank Pym's not a nice man. I mean, he's not the worst.
He's had a past.
But he's done some stuff. First and foremost, Avengers number 213, 1981. This is the comic in which he punched his wife, backhanded her actually. But at this time, he calls himself Yellow Jacket. Hank Pym does, because he switches his names all the time because he ain't right. And then this is what happened. After shooting a captured villainess, he had already captured her, then he shot her for no reason. Pym might be kicked off the Avengers team, of which he was a founding member along with the Wasp. So he locks himself in the lab. He creates an Ultron knockoff. Pretty sure he created Ultron in the comics. I don't want to talk out my butt, but I'm pretty sure that's true. He creates another fucking evil robot to attack the Avengers because he thinks they're about to kick him off. And then when Janet, I think she shrinks down small, sneaks into the lab, she tries to talk him down, and he backhands her. Girl. Now, that was the slap, backhand I should say, heard around the comic book world. Because there have been instances of comic book heroes sometimes getting a little domestic abusey, like Reed Richards hits Sue Storm in one of the Fantastic Four comics, but I think very crucially, she is a villainess at the time, right? She's against him. Whereas, you know, the Wasp is never against her husband, ever. She is she's very much like, I mean, if you wanted to take it that way, she plays the role of like the abused woman. She's in the background. She's quiet. She's supportive. She's badass in her own right, but she's not written in a way that makes her the star. She's always supporting, which is one of the reasons I'm so excited to see her in this movie. But further, I was doing some research on this, and Jim Shooter, who was the Avengers writer and a former overall Marvel editor, he says that the punch wasn't supposed to be intentional. It was supposed to be like he's shoving past her and shoves her down, but that the artist at the time, Bob Hall, exaggerated the violence for whatever reason. But girl, we know how comic books work. Yeah. It's not like that shit doesn't get edited over and they're like, "Oh, there wasn't time to change it." Bitch. If you're going to have one of your main characters punch his wife, that's huge. Or if that wasn't huge in 1981, then that's indicative of the problem right there. You know what I mean? Like, you don't say, "Oh, we don't have time to change this. I'll just have him punch his wife." Yeah. I mean, really?
Yeah.
No.
It's not cool.
I think it was intentional. They didn't realize how upset people would be by it, and then they're backtracking. But that's just my personal fan theory. Did you know that, though?
I did not, and I wonder if they're going to incorporate any of that into the movie.
I wonder. Well, I was very upset at first because, oh my God, this chair is so hard. It's a wooden chair. We forgot to get pillows today. And I have no butt. Everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Girl, it's a well-known fact. I was very upset when I started watching Ant-Man because when I heard the name Hank Pym, I was like, oh God, are they going to bring in domestic abuse to this? Like, is this going to be a violent thing? And then I was like, okay, it's the second Ant-Man, Scott Lang, played by Paul Rudd. And I was like, okay, this is fine. But Michael Douglas now has a big part. So kind of similar to what we were talking about before, I wish they would nod to that moment. Because in order to heal and move forward as a society, we need to be honest about when we have done bad things and made evil decisions. And him backhanding his wife while creating a robot to attack the team of Super Friends was an evil moment. He was evil in that moment. I want to hear about that. And Michael Douglas plays a real good evil/good guy.
He really does.
He's great at
seamless
balancing that.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you think superhero fatigue is a thing, Morgie?
I think it's a great question because we are so inundated with it. Like, we don't even have time to get excited or be anxious about the next one because as soon as you see one, the next one's just around the corner.
Right.
Just around the fucking corner.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's possible to be fatigued, especially if you maybe wait till later to see things, because then you could have like a whole pileup of things you need to catch up on.
I literally had to watch like 9 movies for our Infinity War thing. Literally, I'm not exaggerating, 9 movies I had to watch.
But if it's like your number one thing, like Marvel movies are your fave and you see them on opening night, I think they're spaced out every couple of months to just long enough to give you some time to get excited and not be like overwhelmed with it, But it is a lot. It's insane how many Marvel movies there are. Like we've talked about this before, but we've gone from like the occasional superhero film, Batman was the coveted every couple years situation, to now like literally every 2 or 3 months a superhero movie. Yeah.
And on top of that, I mean, I know it's different, but the Star Wars movies on top of that.
Yep.
All the TV that we've mentioned on
all
top of that.
the TV. And I'm so behind, it's like I'll never catch up.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, completely. Yeah. I mean, I've given up. Yeah. Even though a lot of the shows that I love, I mean, I don't watch Green Arrow anymore. I just fell too far behind, and also the quality fell.
I just picked up on like season 4 of The Flash on Netflix, and it's just like so much.
There's so much to see.
And they're all like 45 minutes long. Yep. It's a lot.
Yeah, and I've heard The Flash has kind of gone down in
season
quality
4 is not good. Sarah and I were just shit talking it.
So bummed about that. It used to be great, y'all.
It used to be so good.
Legends of Tomorrow, I don't even know if that's fucking even on anymore. I don't watch. It became too much. I started feeling overwhelmed.
It's a lot. It's a whole lot.
But you know what I'm worried about, Morgie, is I'm not so more. I think superhero fatigue could be a thing. I think they can play with the formula enough to make it feel new. For example, talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp as a romantic comedy that's also a superhero movie, I think is smart. And they've done that before.
Marvel's taken strides to change things and differentiate kind of in the last couple years, especially with the tone. Like, Marvel's always been like a little more whimsical, but especially with things like Guardians of the Galaxy, it's really changed the pace of things. And it's really changed our expectations for, like, what we want to see. Infinity War was a really great example of the different tones of the different characters because they had to introduce into that film so many different things. So it was like when they were on Guardians of the Galaxy, it was very like, okay, here's this music, here's this tempo, here's this dialogue. But then when we were on Captain America, it was like a very strong, like, tone shift. So I think that they handle it very well, but they are sort of moving in a new direction, and I think that they are kind of grasping at introducing new and different things. So Ant-Man has helped with that because it's a little more along the lines of like the Hawkeye, Black Widow, was that her name? Black Widow situation. Because they're just normal people that are like doing their best and using technology to be the best they can be. But then we have shit like Captain Marvel on the horizon to be like, but also let's not forget about really powerful celestial type beings, you know? So they're finding like an interesting balance to keep it interesting.
Yes, I agree. I think the quality of the movies is going to continue to be great. I think they're going to continue to experiment and bring us both flops and big successes.
What do you think's like a flop? I mean, like in recent years, because I think Thor: The Dark World is like
Huge
universal flop.
Well, technically, money-wise, the original Ant-Man was pretty close to a flop. I mean, it wasn't a complete flop. It had critical success, but financially, it was pretty floppish.
Not as good as the other ones.
I'm trying to think. There haven't been many. I will say that there haven't been many.
It. Like if Ant-Man is like,
well, now if we're talking about DC, we've got plenty of flops.
We're not.
But we're not.
But
no.
yeah, Wonder Woman is their only saving grace.
Pretty much at this point, fucking trash. You know what I'm afraid of is less superhero fatigue and more superhero placebo. And here's why I say that. Yeah. Think back to the Great Depression. That was when movie musicals, big extravaganzas, and like, what's it called? Ziegfeld's Follies, and like ridiculous, over the top shit. People loved movies then. That's when movies really started to take off. And maybe I'm crazy, but I see something kind of similar in our superhero blockbusters. I feel like they're just distracting us from how wretched our world is getting. And it's hard to say that, though, because you can't tell if things are going downhill or uphill until you can look back. You know what I mean? Because while we're going through it, we can say, oh, this sucks right now. I have no money. And we're torturing people at the border, children no less. And we're, going backwards in America and all this stuff. But like 10 years from now, we might look back and be like, oh, that was a tiny blip. Or we might say, that was the beginning of the end. You know what I mean? But I've noticed when society's going through really difficult times is when we bring out all of our extravaganza so that we'll have an opiate for the masses so we won't fucking focus on all the horrible shit. It's exactly what happened during the Great Depression and, frankly, comic books in World War II. Yep. That's how they were birthed. Oh, I just gave myself chills. That's a good moment. But that does worry me.
We do use entertainment as medicine.
We do. Me and you do.
We do.
And we're certainly not alone. So I just like to put that out there. Maybe not superhero fatigue, but superhero opiates. Right? That's something I worry about.
Yeah.
What time are we at, Morgie Morg?
53 minutes.
Look at us. Did you have... I have a top 5 list, but I could save it for later in our lives together. Did you have anything else? I feel like I cut you off, and I'm so sorry if I did.
Yeah, no problem. There are some more just like theories about what's going to happen in Ant-Man. So, along with being unclear of what Goliath's role will be, as well as the original Wasp and her retrieval and what happens with that, we really don't know that much about what Ghost's role is going to be. So, Marvel hasn't been super known as having the greatest villains of all time.
That's so true.
They're a little bit more back on track with people are really behind some recent villains. Like, people really liked Killmonger. They found that extremely relatable. People like Thanos, even though we weren't blown away by his emotional performance in the most recent film. Ghost is a really great opportunity, number one, to put Ant-Man and the Wasp on the map, and also to be another really great Marvel villain. So people are really excited about the prospect of that. So we're stoked about that.
I love that she's a woman. I love that she's a brown woman. I love that her powers are tech-based. I think all those are, like, of the moment. Very smart.
Yes, very smart. So I'm excited about that stuff, too. But then Marvel's also really not known for having very high stakes in films, right? Like, the deaths don't usually matter. There are a lot of deaths in Infinity War, but we're all but certain they're going to turn back time and save most of those people in one way or another. So the stakes are just so low, right? We expect the good guys to win, the bad guys to lose, and side characters to die. So some deaths should be expected in Ant-Man and the Wasp, especially with the turn from Infinity War, because there should be this kind of like tide shifting where, you know, everybody's not safe. There might be tragedy. So it might not be uncommon. Like, people might expect the Wasp to not make it. That would make a huge impact on Ant-Man. I think it's impossible they would kill off Ant-Man. I think if one of them's going to die, it's going to have to be the Wasp. But additionally, there's a lot of chatter of Luis, the best friend that's really funny, that's fast-talking. There's some chat that he might die, because in the trailer, he's really heavily featured as far as being, like, the getaway driver. Yes. He's even shrinking and growing with them. So now that he's more heavily involved, like, he's at a greater risk, so he might die, which would of course incite, you know, unhappiness from fans, because he was like one of the best parts of Ant-Man. He's hilarious. So we might expect to see his death. We might expect to see Michael Douglas in the original Wasp die. We don't know what the stakes are, but deaths are to be expected. You know, that's what I think is going to happen. We also know that the quantum realm holds all of this mystery and intrigue. So we think that it's going to for sure be a part of what happened in Infinity War. Whether or not Ant-Man and the Wasp escape the giant snap by being in the quantum realm, you know, that might be an option. They might come out and people will be dead. Additionally, they might find all of these secrets they need to defeat Thanos in the quantum realm. So we're really going to need to pay attention to, like, what's happening there. We already talked about the cameos. I think it's going to be Doctor Strange or Captain Marvel.
Maybe both. Fuck yeah, let's take both.
Maybe both would be dope.
Yeah, all about it.
Yeah. Actually, that wraps up all of the fan theories that I wanted to talk about.
Yes, Queen. I'm super excited. I do think Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to be good.
I think so, too.
I don't know if it's going to be memorable, just like I don't think the first one was super memorable, but having Michelle Pfeiffer in it, for me at least, I know that sounds maybe silly, but I am a 30-year-old homosexual and we love Michelle Pfeiffer.
It's not silly.
She's just so fucking good.
Well, and it's powerful that she chose this role to take. I think about this all the time, especially in the Star Wars movies. Like, when somebody takes a role, I'm like, how did they decide that was the role they took? Because once you're in the universe, you're in the universe. There's no diverging. You're not going to suddenly become Captain Marvel 2.0. Like, you are this character that you've chosen. And it's Michelle fucking Pfeiffer, so it must be a good character, yes, you know?
Absolutely. Well, now, to be fair, though, Lawrence Fishburne played someone in the DC universe, like, maybe Peter Parker's boss at the newspaper, maybe? Someone like that.
I guess it's someone like that. I guess DC and Marvel apparently has some availability for crossover. Yes.
Well, and there's also Ryan Reynolds, playing first Deadpool, the Green Lantern and then broke down Deadpool. Yeah. But he's kind of the exception that
playing broke down Deadpool and X-Men, and then also Deadpool 2.0, who's actually dope as
He's actually amazing. Yeah, and funny in every way. But yeah, you're right. In general, people don't switch over. And frankly, Lawrence Fishburne's first character was that he wasn't a superhero. He was a throwaway.
Yeah.
Or not throwaway, but he was just a normie.
Yeah.
He was a muggle, so, you know. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to save this top 5. It's, get excited for this, because we'll have a chance to do it in the future. Okay. Top 5 heroines who deserve better. Yes. Oh. We're going to save that for next time or in the future, because frankly, let's be honest, about half our episodes, I could fucking say that top 5 list. I will tell you, though, one of them is the Wasp, because she's been ignored for years and years. And every time they pull her into a cartoon or something, they make her either a nymphomaniac. That's how she started out. Every time a guy would walk in, she'd be like, He's cute. Which, as a gay man, I do I empathize with that. Because my male gaze is always on, like, 10 out of 10. But they either made her a nymphomaniac, or they made her a victim, or they made her just a quiet kind of hanger-oner. But, she named the Avengers. She came up with the term the Avengers.
A woman did.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did, Betsy Ross. Wait, is that her name?
Oh, yeah. She made a flag and
shit. She Betsy Ross the Avengers.
She did it.
All I could think was, when I said Betsy Ross, I then thought Ross Perot. It got me very confused. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
That's a different person.
Yeah, that's a 90s kid problem. Are you going to go see this in theaters, Morgie?
Well, money's kind of tight right now.
Tight like your vagina.
Yes, Michael Douglas. So I am not sure, but I will definitely be seeing it. If I don't see it in theaters, I will catch it on Amazon Prime.
Girl, rent that shit like I do. Hell to the yes. Yeah. You can fart. You can pause it to go pee.
You can eat. You can talk.
Yeah, you can talk throughout the whole damn thing if you want to. Not to me,
free?
Though, because I'll be mad. Well, it's not free. You did buy it, but the water's free. Well, no, you buy that water, too.
Nothing's free. Life is a sham. Being an adult is terrible.
That's true. Let's regress immediately.
Yeah.
Do you have any plugs for this week, Morgie?
Okay, legitimately, don't judge me. Don't at
too
me.
Late.
Don't come for me. So this week, I have had a lot of time on my hands because I quit my job.
Woo!
We'll talk about that later. And I like background TV, like something I think that can be on that's not super distracting while I, search for like Indeed for jobs or like work on my cover letter, my resumes, whatever. I love background TV. I'm really good at multitasking, and I stand by that. So I was like checking some things out this week, and I might have seen a BuzzFeed article about upcoming sequel to A Christmas Prince, A Christmas Prince 2, The Royal Wedding, not coming out till later this year. But in the article, they detailed a bunch of other movies you could watch in between the time, and there was one movie, their number 2 choice behind A Christmas Prince, that... It's called A Christmas Princess, and it's from 2011, and it's a Hallmark film, and it stars none other than Sam Heughan, Jamie fucking Fraser from Outlander.
Oh my god.
Literally my imaginary baby daddy. Like, if I ever had a crush on an actor, it's this Scottish motherfucker. He is so fun.
He is beautiful.
And then some, like, beautiful lady that's, like, whatever, just a regular old American girl who, like, finds this prince or whatever. Anyways, I immediately went on Amazon Prime and rented this movie for $2.99. And I used it as background TV, which quickly turned into me closing my laptop and hanging on every word of A Christmas Princess 2011 Hallmark film. I regret nothing. You're fucking welcome. This movie is fantastic.
Do you get to see his nipples in the movie?
Oh, no, but he does pull his shirt off at one point because she's like, you're so stiff, let's do whatever, be like a dancey people, hanging out, normal. And he was like, okay, getting loose, and he pulled his shirt up, and there were some very Jamie Fraser moments. If you would like to see Jamie Fraser / Sam Heughan's nipples, there's no reason you shouldn't be watching Outlander. You see everything down to the little V's that lead to the good place. You see
the cum gutters?
All of the butt cheeks. You see everything else.
I love dick cleavage. That's another name for those V's, is dick cleavage. Oh my god.
Sam Heughan, you guys. He's my real plug for this week.
Girl, A Christmas Princess.
A Princess for Christmas.
A Princess for Christmas.
I think is what it's called. Whatever. It's great.
A Duchess for Kwanzaa. Now on Amazon Prime.
Oh my god, we should make that film.
That'd be great. Well... No, we need to find a black director to make a Duchess for Kwanzaa.
I wonder if we can get Michael B. Jordan involved.
Yes, Gwena.
Girl,
can we see his nipples?
We could pray. You could Google it.
Yes.
I might have before.
Girl. Ooh, okay, so this week I'm plugging something that's not at all as sexy as
as a Princess for Christmas?
No, as any of that. It's actually not sexy at all. It's also on Amazon Prime, though. It's for free, though. It's one of the Prime movies. It's called The Girl with All the Gifts. Have you seen that?
No.
So this is just a little synopsis, okay? It's only one sentence. It's a very long sentence. In the future, a strange fungus has changed nearly everyone into a thoughtless, flesh-eating monster. When a scientist and a teacher find a girl who seems to be immune to the fungus, they all begin a journey to save humanity. Okay, that actually, I didn't read that ahead of time. That doesn't make it sound good. That leaves all the good stuff. Let me tell you, first of all, Dr. Carolyn something or other is Glenn Close, one of the main characters, and she's fabulous. Fabulous. Gemma Arterton, do you know her? Her face looks familiar to me, but I don't know what I know her from.
I'm not sure.
She plays the teacher, and the young woman, oh, I can't even tell. She looks so different in the movie, which you will understand. I think it's Dominique Tipper is her name, but she's a young woman, and she plays this. She's a little girl who, without spoiling it, is halfway between a human and a zombie, and that's all I'll say.
Oh.
So they trust her, but not very much, because she has urges, yes. And this world, it's post-apocalyptic already. They're an army base, so they're still functioning for a certain amount of time. But it's over. Everything's over. It's called The Girl with All the Gifts.
Okay.
It was amazing.
Is it a show or a movie?
It's a movie.
Okay.
It's a great movie. It moves fast. It's understandable. There's good action, but it's about the characters. The little girl who plays the main character, the girl with all the gifts, is both an amazing actress and also a really nuanced character with a lot of twists and turns and a lot of deviant urges, let's say.
I am intrigued.
It was amazing.
Absolutely going to watch this.
It's my new favorite zombie movie.
Awesome.
The Girl with All the Gifts. Amazon Prime.
Nice.
Heck yes.
Badass.
Yes.
Oh, well, I just feel like we have so much more to talk about, but our episode has come to an end.
I know. But we talked about some good stuff.
We did.
We brought up Aziz Ansari again. That's good. We try to do that every episode.
Well, it's in our agenda.
I just love him.
Yeah. He sponsors our podcast. Thanks, Aziz.
Oh my God, I wish. I would take his money. People might judge me for that, but I would take his money.
To be honest, I would take most people's money right now.
Anyone but the three most monstrous monster men, I would take their money.
Word.
You know who I'm talking about. Probably.
Send us your money.
Yeah, but I don't want to say
Harvey
their
Weinstein.
names. Yeah, Harvey Weinstein's a 0. That one whose name we will never remember again, whose name starts with a K and then S.
Yeah, we forgot
0.
him already.
And also Jell-O. I'm just going to say Jell-O.
Oh, yeah.
We forget him too.
I thought he liked pudding.
Whatever, I forgot.
Yeah, he's dead to me.
Yep, sadly but truly.
But you know who's not dead to me? All
Who?
of our beautiful listeners. Thank you for tuning in.
You're alive.
We love you.
We love you.
Until next time.
Oh, wait, you have to plug our stuff, Morgie.
Oh, just kidding. Please follow us.
I'm sorry I put it all on your shoulders.
We're desperate for you to follow us. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the fucking shit. We are at B&B Cast or Beauty and the Bitch. Check out me personally on the gram at Morganized Mess and my blog, morganizedmess.com. What's happening on our YouTube, babe?
Girl, right now we have every single episode of Beauty and the Bitch, except for one that never uploaded. It's just lost.
And you'll never hear it.
No, you'll never
hear
what
it again.
If you're the person who listens. There's one person who listens on YouTube, I think.
Thanks, Dad.
Or maybe... It could be that when I go in to edit the stuff, it counts as a view.
I don't think it does.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
Okay, so there's one person listening. And then we're also, our Let's Queer Witcher 3 is going very strong. We're on episode 32, 33,
That is insane.
Yes.
Baby's playing some games.
And girl, that long-ass game is not even, I still got ways to go.
Not shocking.
No.
Not shocking.
I'm going to try to finish it up before the end of this year, though.
That's awesome.
But yeah, every Tuesday and Thursday, new episodes of that, new episodes of the podcast, every single Monday on the YouTube channel, Beauty and the Bitch.
Yeah, be sure to click that subscribe button wherever you get your podcasts so you can hear us every week, babies.
All right. You did that so perfect, Morgie.
Thank
You're so
you.
good at that. Thank you. Okay.
That's what I do.
Aw. Bye.
Bye.
You also do a lot of sailors.
Okay, I was trying to click stop.
I know you're trying to get in there and stop it, but I'm still talking.
Do you have a home? Beauty and the Bitch.
You
look.
bitch.
Bitch, Beauty and the Bitch.
Beauty and the bitch.
Bitch, bitch.